Hello, dear teachers. My name is Tania Jimenez from TaniaTeacherTraining.com. I'm an ESL teacher. I have been an ESL teacher for 30 years and I have been a teacher trainer for almost 10 years now. Today I will show you how to structure an ESL lesson using the PPP approach. PPP stands for Presentation, Practice, Production. It's an approach to teach English. Okay, so let's see the steps. First step, the warm-up. Second step, the input, that is the presentation. Third step, the practice. Fourth step, the output, that is the production. And final step, the feedback. Let's begin, shall we? First step is the warm-up. Like in any other activity, first we need to warm up. You need to engage your students in such a way that they feel comfortable. They feel comfortable with you, with the lesson, so you may start. Let's see some examples of warm-up. You can do a warm-up or a lead-in. A warm-up is a 5-minute activity used to break the ice with the students, like I said before. Here you have some examples of warm-ups. It can be a word game, it can be a riddle, it can be a crossword puzzle, a tongue twister, or any quick activity related to the topic. We can use a warm-up or we can use a lead-in. The difference between a warm-up and a lead-in is that the lead-in is related to the topic we will be teaching. Here we have a crossword puzzle, we have a tongue twister. This example says, if two witches would watch two watches, which witch would watch which watch? Now you try to say it, teacher. And we have a riddle for you. How can you leave a room with 2 legs and return with 6 legs? Teachers, find the answer and write it on the comments, right? Okay. Once we have all the students in the mood to start the lesson, remember when they arrive in the classroom or you arrive in their classroom, they are not ready to start. They are doing something else. That's why we do the warm-up. Once they have finished with this, we can now start our lesson. Step number 2, teachers, the input. That is the presentation. You can give a presentation through a story or by using a song or a role play, an anecdote, a video, a poem, almost anything as long as you expose students to the TL, that is the target language, or the grammar point, let's say, that you will be teaching. In this case, I am going to show you in this video how to work with should. For example, you want to work with a song because you're using simple past. You can use the song by John Lennon, Yesterday. Why? Because it's full of examples that use verbs in simple past. In this case, I will be using a story for should. This is my story for should, teachers. I created the story. I added some pictures here, as you can see, to make it more visual for my students so they remember more easily. Well, this is my story. My sister Cynthia broke up with her boyfriend yesterday and she got very sad. She was telling us about it, and then my father looked at her and he said, well, Cynthia, I think you should focus on your studies now. Then I looked at her and I said, Cynthia, I think that you should go out with your friends. Now you have time. My mother said, whoa, I think we should all give Cynthia a break because breaking up with the love of your life can be really hard, right, honey? And she comforted my sister. We finally went for an ice cream. This is my story and this is how I introduced should. This is what we need to do once we finish the story, the anecdote, the song, etc. Anything that we have used. We need to work with MPF. MPF stands for meaning, pronunciation, and form. Meaning, we're going to be checking questions. We're going to be checking the concept and ask concept check questions. What is that? A CCQ or concept check questions are questions asked in order to check the meaning of our TL. For example, with Cynthia, are we talking about obligations for Cynthia or advice for Cynthia? Advice, right? Am I speaking in present or in past when I give advice to Cynthia? I am speaking in present. So that's how I have my students think about the meaning of the TL. Don't give everything, teachers, to the students. Have them think about it before you give the answer. Then we work with the form. It can be MPF or MFP. It really doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter as long as you cover the three. In the form, I will be explaining from one or two examples from my story. I'm going to be explaining the formula, how you structure your sentence. First, we need the subject, then we need should or shouldn't, and then we need the verb in simple form. I take it from the examples. I ask them, what do you remember about my story? Well, I remember, teacher, that Cynthia should go out with her friends. Perfect. Then we have Cynthia is the subject, should, that is our modal verb, and then go is the verb in simple form. In this case, using two or three examples, one in affirmative, probably one in negative, then you cover the form. Now, pronunciation, teachers. Please practice with them pronunciation. Two things basically, word stress and sentence stress. Here we have two examples. Cynthia, you should focus on your studies now. You should focus on your studies now. Where do you find the primary stress in the sentence? You should focus in the verb, right? Here, another example. We should give Cynthia a break. We should give Cynthia a break. Probably you want to emphasize the word we because we as a family need to protect Cynthia or help Cynthia. Have them repeat, do some drilling, that is choral repetition, do some drilling with your students of the examples they got from your story. In that case, you will have covered meaning, pronunciation, and form. And this is where your presentation finishes. Next step, step number 3, practice. Now, your students need to practice first with controlled practice. What is that? When my students are able only to change one word in the sentence, that is called controlled practice. That's why I wrote here fill in the blanks. For example, I need you to complete with should or shouldn't. Cynthia should stay home or Cynthia shouldn't stay home. So Cynthia blank stay home. Should or shouldn't. Cynthia call her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend back. Should or shouldn't. The idea here with controlled practice is that your students start feeling comfortable with the new TL and start using it in a safe environment so they won't be nervous about making mistakes. Fill in the blanks or true or false. Cynthia should call her boyfriend back. True or false? Cynthia should go out with her friends. True or false? Once you finish your exercise with controlled practice, you move on to semi-controlled practice. Here, you can finish sentences, or your students can finish sentences. For example, Cynthia should maybe visit her friends, visit the doctor, visit a psychologist, etc. I'm giving the example of Cynthia right now. But you can use the semi-controlled practice with other cases. Not just Cynthia, somebody else had a problem. You introduce the problem and you ask them to finish or complete the sentences about that person, what he should do, where he should go, advice for that person, right? That is semi-control. Then you move on to step 4, the output. This is the moment where your students can show you what they have learned. They can use the TL in a freer way. Here I have this exercise for them, or this task for them. I can give them pictures and I can give them cards with the following situation. Situation number 1, Margaret lost her job and she's feeling depressed. She has 3 kids. She lost her job. And we have another one. Jonas is stressed. He can't sleep, due to his noisy neighbors. What do they do? What should this person do? What should Margaret do? Okay, so I give them the situation, I give them the cards, and I tell them to work in teams. In that way, they're going to be free to work with the TL, but they can introduce other things or they can use other structures. So it really is a freer practice, the output. Then we have step 5, teachers. While they are working in teams, you can use your time to monitor what they are doing. You can go from team to team and observe and listen to what they are saying, right? And while you are observing, you can also make notes about the good things they say, about the good things that you observe, right? And about the mistakes they say. Please don't interrupt your students at this point because they need to feel confident with the TL. And if you start interrupting, the purpose of the production will be lost. Once you give the feedback, or once you start giving the feedback, please talk in general. Don't say, you made a mistake, you made this mistake. Don't say that. Say, well, as I could observe, we're doing great. Your pronunciation was wonderful, but you still need to work with the verb in simple form. Remember to do this, remember not to do that. Okay? Say something positive, then talk about the mistake and say something positive again so they feel comfortable with that. Okay? And that is the end of our lesson with these 5 steps. Remember, teachers, warm up, presentation, practice, production, and feedback. This is only one way to work with our ESL lesson, but there are other methodologies. If you want to find out more, please go to our website, taniateachertraining.com, and receive more advice. You can also subscribe to our virtual school. If you found this video useful, please give us a like, and click on the little bell and subscribe so you don't miss any of the contents. Well, have a great day, teachers. See you soon. Take your career to the next level. Bye.